we decided we'd hurry up and get ready and go live. So, so if you missed us today, I'm so sorry that we changed our time on you. But it is what it is.
The nice thing about YouTube is you can find it and watch the replay.
So as you can see, Gary did shave. Look at that handsomeness, and I did scalping. Yeah. See, it's
Yep.
Yep.
Got a shave and a haircut.
Yep. Shave and a haircut. So yeah. So he's
Makes it cooler.
Yeah. Ready for the warmer weather.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Hi, Miss Evelyn.
Hello.
Oh, and there he goes, starting to yawn again. We get on a lot, sit down on the live, and he starts yawning. I think it's just the sitting down part. I think you got a button on your booty. He's funny. But anyway, so he did do a supply preaching this morning at Eureka Methodist Church in Radar, Missouri, and did really good. A little nervous. Hey, Christy Betts.
And if anybody is anywhere close to the Radar, Niangua, Conway, Marshfield, Springfield, Lebanon area, we will be there again next Sunday. So come out and join us if you're around.
Yep.
Howdy, everybody. I'm glad to see people coming in here.
Yeah.
So cool.
So that...
There's 2 or 3 people commenting, but there's only 1 person in here.
I know it's sometimes slow to catch up.
It's not. Yeah. The counter is not accurate.
No, it's not accurate. Yeah. So, yeah. And it is summertime in the Ozarks. Woo. Got warm today. Warm. So, yeah.
Yep, Cindy's in her shorts already.
I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. So, yep, it's that time of year. We ate our mushrooms Monday.
And Tuesday.
Yep. And we put some on the dehydrator.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary had said something about fixing beef stroganoff, and I bought all the stuff for beef stroganoff. And then we were gonna make it one day. I thought I'd bought all the stuff, and I said, "Oh, I forgot to buy mushrooms." Neither one of us thought about we had mushrooms. Got the air conditioner on. Good. Glad it works. But yeah, neither one of us thought about. And I said we can't have stroganoff because we don't have any mushrooms. Neither one of us thought about the mushrooms being on the dehydrator. We could have used those. We didn't think about that. So it is what it is. It's all right. So then I bought some at the store. And yesterday I was talking to my friend Gladys. Have my shorts on today too. 78 degrees. Yeah, it's warm. It's nice. So, I was talking to my friend Gladys yesterday.
Cold natured, but the camper heats up.
Yes, it does. Trailer houses do too. Trailer houses heat up real good.
It says it's 85 here now.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, talking to Gladys, and I was telling her that story, and I said, I didn't think about the mushrooms that we had on the dehydrator, and I bought a big old can of mushrooms. Silly, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't think about it.
We'll use them at some point.
Yep.
Now that they're dehydrated, we can use them for that anytime we want. I'm just going to lay back here and make myself at home like I'm at home or something.
You are at home.
Oh, I am at home. Nice to meet y'all.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, we have 80.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we have drove around today. We went out to eat twice already. Somebody wanted Mexican for their special time.
For my birthday. Tomorrow's my birthday. So we had birthday today. Hey, Patty, the Tinker's wife, how you doing? Yeah, so we had breakfast on the road in Lebanon. We had breakfast at a cafe in Lebanon. And then we had Mexican food at a Mexican restaurant in Lebanon. So the theme here is Lebanon, Missouri. Lebanon, Missouri. Well, thank you, Miss Christie. I'm getting super old. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Don't have too far to go. Till I'll be over the hill. Knee calm down. Good. Good, 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 good. Good. We've been praying for you and your knee. That was just, I hated that for you. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Evelyn. Yeah, so got some new shoes. What I got? New shoes and 2 t-shirts. That's what I got from my birthday. That's what I needed. And I have to go out to eat. So, yeah. And there's that. And I broke a nail. Look at me. Pray for aftercare help to come forward so I can schedule the surgery. Yes. Yeah, I hope they get that scheduled quickly. The waiting is the worst, I think, on those things. You know what needs to be done.
Right.
And it's just waiting to get it all scheduled.
Yep. I've done a little more foraging this week besides I went mushroom hunting one day and found one dried up mushroom that had been stepped on or something. And I picked some more wild onions. And we're going to let them dry and use them for powder.
Yep. Our coffee grinder bit the dust.
We had to buy a new coffee grinder.
Had to buy a new coffee grinder.
If you guys don't know, if you haven't seen the videos, we use a cheap coffee grinder to grind corn that we grow.
And herbs.
Yeah.
Garlic.
All kinds of stuff.
All the kinds of dehydrated
Even the
stuff.
ground coffee with it a time or two.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we use it a lot for our corn to make our cornmeal. It's a cheap way to grind cornmeal. You have to sift it when you're done.
Him and that yawning. Oh my goodness.
But we purposely just continue to buy a cheap coffee grinder because it does speed up a coffee grinder.
It does. It does. Yeah. So, well, hello, Miss Jan. Yes, we're early because we have a family dinner tonight. So we went a little early. Hopefully we're not running over the top of anybody. Watching on the big screen. That's awesome. Thank you, Miss Patty. Yeah. We got a family dinner this evening, and we thought we'd go live early, and not miss our live. We miss y'all. If you hadn't seen it, we got our first radishes. Pulled 3 radishes out of the garden. One wasn't as big as I thought it was. And so, but yeah, we got a 3. If you didn't see that short, we just put up a short just a little bit ago about radishes. He's sleepy.
Goodness.
Sleepy.
Goodness.
He gets sit down and gets still and he goes to sleep.
I caught a mess of fish this week.
You did? You caught fish this week?
Got some bluegill and red ear.
We had some good fish. And
they were good. Had them with mushrooms one day.
that was good.
Yeah, we really like the fish. I caught a red ear that was 11 inches long. It was huge. Huge red ear.
Gonna have to do a garden tour. It's that time. We've got stuff coming up.
Goodness, I can't believe the
Hi, Kevin.
Hey.
So, and we were just talking about you and Jan, Kevin, today.
Were your ears burning?
We were talking about how fast things are getting scheduled out for us. And I told him we've got to schedule 10 days and counting until I get to fish. Yay, Evelyn. In the garden today. Awesome. Yeah, we were in the garden too. But yeah, I need to do a garden tour to show y'all what's coming up in the garden, what we've got planted in the garden. But Kevin and Jan, we were talking about y'all to get you on the schedule. We gotta get you on the schedule to go fishing. So Jan, I'll be texting you. Gotta get you on the schedule so we don't let it get by. We let it get by last fall and didn't get it done. So we gotta get on the schedule to come go fishing with y'all. I gotta get my fishing license. Somebody already got his, but I haven't gone fishing yet.
Yeah, I did already get mine. I've already used it a few times.
Yeah. He gets it as soon as it expires. He goes and gets his fishing license.
Gotta have a fishing license.
Yeah. He's more on top of that than his driver's license. Yes, I totally agree. I totally get it, Jan. Totally get it. Totally get it.
Where's the meetup this time?
It's at Lake Palm de Terre.
Palm de Terre, that's right.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we're gonna get to go because I think I work that weekend. So I know. So we'll just have to see. So vacations start. People start vacationing, and everybody gets jumbled around on their weekends, and that's okay. I don't mind. I'm just tickled that I get to work.
Mm-hmm. Glad to have a job.
I'm very glad to have a job. Very nice to have a job. And, yeah. I forgot to turn my notifications off.
Oh.
So we're getting notifications. But yeah. And I'm used to the camera being over here. I've got my phone backwards. Awesome. Successfully laid drip line today. That's cool.
Awesome. Cool.
We had talked about that in Kansas, and Gary had even started getting together materials to do it, and we didn't get it done.
Nope.
That's okay.
Things change.
Yep. Plans changed. But yeah. Hi, Mike. 30 bass. Awesome. That's nice, Mike. Tell Miss Judy hi and give her our love. Awesome. Nice. Yeah. We like to eat fish.
Yeah, we do. We like to eat fish and foraged food.
Mm-hmm. You're getting out of the screen there, mister. I purposely moved over because there's so much sunlight over there.
Yeah,
yes,
we did last year. We
mm-hmm.
used an old hose for a small drip line in our garden.
Yep. Old water hose. Yep. It worked really good. We still have that hose. We'll probably get used again. Yeah, because the Dr. Pepper cap fit.
Yep,
remember?
You put a Dr. Pepper cap on the end of a water hose. You can do that.
So, yeah. Redneck homesteading.
Now, at one point in time, our homesteading looked like that. We didn't hardly spend any money on it. It was the goal of it was to not spend money. Mm-hmm. That's why we did it. We would spend little money on and
plants
we'd
and
buy some feed, but would try to make that as economical as possible. We'd buy a few animals, but usually at a cheaper discount price or trade for them or something. Mm-hmm. We didn't buy a whole lot.
Yep.
And so definitely buying a bunch of stuff for a garden was not in our list of.
We were homesteaders when we didn't know we were homesteaders. Yeah. We just were surviving.
Knew that's how we could survive and still eat decent, and everybody still be full and fed and took care of.
And honestly, I have so many preservative sensitivities that it was good to. They're not so bad now. The raw guys, I'm an advocate for raw milk. I so am an advocate for raw milk. But as I'm slipping in my diet and going back into more processed foods, I'm starting to have more gut issues. So and we've got back onto raw milk, but I'm still struggling to handle it. So, we'll see. We may have to get a goat or find goat milk. We may have to find goat milk. I know who got goat milk. Just need to talk to Jennifer. But yeah, so we'll see. But, so I'm going to have to start over. Because I've gotten off track. And I've eaten way too much flour.
Yeah.
Way too much flour. That always causes me issues. So, yeah. Yep. Just wanted a life like your grandparents had. Yep. Yeah. Well, we.
Our our grandparents were sometimes encouraging, sometimes discouraging
Yes.
of some of the things we pursued.
Yeah. My grandmother was really helpful with my learning to can. Yep. We had a stomach ache. Yeah. I need European flour. Probably. I do better with. So we get sometimes we get flour from Sparrow,
Stone and Sparrow.
Stone and Sparrow, and I can order it online and have them ship it to me. And
we do like spelt flour
spelt,
and turkey red and some things like that.
And do a whole lot better on it. And if I get organic, sometimes, and sometimes not. I think it's because I mix them flours. But sometimes if I use organic flour, I can do a little better. But I've just, to be honest, like my friend Gladys is an amazing baker, and she bakes and sells at farmers market and stuff like that. And yesterday yesterday she makes these little mini loaves of lemon. They're lemon and blueberry. Oh, they're so good, so good. Sweet bread. It is so good. And I ate a whole one by myself by the time the day was over, and then we had spaghetti and some of her homemade garlic bread for supper. And then I've had bread, a little bit of bread throughout the week, and so it's just. And we had tortillas. I had a tortilla today, and we had tortillas earlier in the week.
We had biscuits for breakfast.
We had biscuits for breakfast. And we did Sunday. I had biscuits and gravy for breakfast Sunday, and I'd had cake and rolls and all. I just had way too much flour, and I can tell my face is puffy. What's the matter?
Can you draw that last comment back up there?
Maybe. Woo! I went the wrong way with that one. It was scrolled. Oh, yep, ball book. That's what my grandmother got me. I still have my ball canning book. The blue book. I still have it. What's left of it, because it got kind of roughed up over the years. But yeah,
got used.
It got used. But yeah. Hello, Miss Viola. How are you? But yeah, that's what I started with. I started with that, and my aunts we bought some jars. Well, we bought a canner off of my aunt, a pressure canner, a Presto pressure canner, and she gave me some jars with it, and I can't remember what all she gave me. And she gave me a little bit of knowledge, but I'd call my grandmother Gary's grandma, and my mom, and sometimes my mother-in-law. Your mom taught me how to can tomatoes, and so yeah, so we had a lot to draw from with it between his grandmas, and so my grandmother had gone blind by then, but she could tell me stuff over the phone, and she came and helped me once, and yeah, that my mom's mom, my dad's mom was my granny, and she grew up she passed away when I was 12, and she lived next door to us. But my mom's parents had lived in Texas, and we'd moved them back to Cleveland right after I got out of high school.
Something like that.
I think between me graduating high school and us getting married, I think in that fall before Christmas, we moved them up to Cleveland, and so.
Yeah, and I think they encouraged us a lot. That generation encouraged us a lot. Then sometimes it discouraged us, just because of partly because of frugality, because they felt like you can take a little bit of money and go buy that rather than putting all the work into it. And then part of it also was they had seen the hardships that we had not, the hard parts of homesteading that sometimes we glamorize. They knew how hard they really were.
Yeah.
And so they would discourage some of those things.
And they had faced, and we did too a little bit, they had faced like a prejudice against, that,
Yeah. Country bumpkins.
yeah, that's what
Mm-hmm.
white trash did or poor people did. And, get made fun of for it. And it worked out great. I mean, it really did. And it's crazy. We were talking to somebody today about how crazy it is that Gary's mom and dad came to one of the Ozarks homesteading expos, and Gary's mom was like, "That's homesteading? I thought that was just how you raised your kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how you live on a little bit of nothing."
Yeah, and they would do things like they would say, "Good, grow potatoes, but grow enough to have some new potatoes and some green beans and a few things like that, and just buy the rest of your potatoes."
Yeah.
And sometimes we still do that, and,
Yes.
and economically, that sometimes is a good choice when potatoes are cheap. And the same thing with bread and stuff. So they would encourage us to grow the more expensive things that in our gardens and produce our own meat. Definitely, always encouraged to produce our own meat and things like that. But
yeah, because for us, the way we did it, it was much cheaper to produce our own meat. The way we were able to do it.
Yeah, and it was always economic for us.
But it's not for everybody. Does that make sense? And we understand that. Just because we can get a calf and raise it out and have it processed or process it ourselves and have like $1 a pound in that meat doesn't necessarily mean that everybody can do that.
Right. And we have to find the right deals.
Yeah.
And we don't always find the right deals.
Yeah.
And so then sometimes we'll eat more deer meat than we do beef, or we'll eat more pork or chicken or fish or whatever, or we'll eat less of those or whatever.
Yeah.
Deer meat is a great way. There was a year that between a pig or two and some chickens and basically hunting and fishing, we've pretty much fed our family that way. Our gardens, and we did not buy. There was a year at least that we didn't buy much groceries.
Right. That 2001. Yeah. 2001 was a rough year. Gary was really sick and struggling.
A lot of struggles and a lot of sickness, and we lived on a taxable income of about $1,100. I did some trading and bartering for rent on the house we were living in,
and our income before that was like the gross before they did our deductions was just 12,000, 10 or 12,000. It wasn't much. Wasn't much that year at all, and I had I'd been doing what I could do, but it wasn't enough to. It was difficult, a hard year, and then 2002 was a little better, than 2001. You were working at Valley Hope, and we had Hannah, and we finally got a diagnosis. It didn't really help us much, but at least we knew what it was. There wasn't really nothing they could do, but at least we knew what it was. So there were some things we learned we could do, like avoid some trigger foods and stuff like that. So
in that time we found a book called The Maker's Diet.
Your mom.
Your mom had it. We read it, and that kind of helped some with our health thing. That started our health part of the journey. It really did start our health part of the journey, because I was going through that and we were trying to figure out what to do. And we were trying to be as naturopathic as possible. And we found this book by a guy, Jordan Rubens, that had basically healed himself from Crohn's with the diet changes. So we started, and mine wasn't Crohn's, but I thought, well, if it do that, it might do this, you know.
Right.
So we started using some of his ideas, and we found out who Weston Price was through that, and just that whole idea of, we had been grown up in the 80s and the early 90s, and so health food was Diet Cola and
margarine
and iron fortified bread and
which really was killing me
and stuff like that. That was artificial sweeteners, and that was being healthy. And go eat a piece of bread instead of a piece of meat, and that's healthy. And we found out the opposite, actually.
Yeah, we did. We found out the opposite. And they're saying that our generation is some of the least healthiest people right now, as we're getting older and hitting middle age and our golden years, Gold in our teeth, silver in our hair, the metallic ears, metallic ears.
What Grandpa used to say, he didn't say metallic. It was mineral. His mineral years.
I don't remember.
Yeah, his years.
Precious metals.
It was minerals.
Minerals. Okay, precious
because
minerals.
He had silver in his hair, gold in his teeth, gas on his stomach, and oil in his hair.
Oil in his hair.
Yeah, that's what it was. Gas in his stomach, oil in his hair.
Just crazy. But yeah, so yeah, they're saying we have the most gut health issues, and I was reading something of a study and you can make studies say whatever you want them to say. Just that's my little blurb on conspiracy theorists. But you can get a study to tell you whatever you want to say. But I was reading an article.
But I couldn't believe it's not butter.
I was reading an article talking about gut health and the link between gut health and water, municipal water, chlorinated and fluorinated water, and the gut health. Gotta go get it. Yeah. I mean, you can get a study for whatever you want, and so you have to be very careful what you look at for studies, because it just depends on who paid for the study, and it's going to be a bias, or what the person was looking for. We're, as human beings, we have a bias.
Chrissy, I would look into things like the Western Price.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the foundation. There's a Western Price Foundation. Nourishing Traditions is a cookbook that's based on his studies. And we think, Cindy and I, neither one have trouble with high cholesterol. And we eat lots of fatty meats, and lots of eggs, and dairy, things like that. We try to avoid a lot of highly processed seed oils.
Yes.
Hydrogenated oils.
No, vegetable oils. We avoid vegetable oils.
We try to avoid those and things like that, and processed foods.
We do.
And we feel like that helps, and I think you should look into some of that. Definitely, we aren't doctors. So anything we give as health advice is really meant to just give you a place to research.
Yes.
And do your own research. But we're just giving you some ideas of things to research.
And things that have helped us.
Yep, absolutely.
And and that's our own bias. It's our own bias. Give you our experience. Fluoride and high fructose corn syrup is banned in many European countries. A lot of things are, Kevin. Those little chocolate donuts on the counter. Oh, Christy, yes.
Hey, you done quit preaching and started meddling.
My friend knocked out diabetes totally by changing her diet. Yes. I believe it. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially type 2. Type 2 is definitely diet linked.
Well,
but it can be to a point that you can't reverse it sometimes, but you can control it with diet.
Yeah.
But yes, I believe that.
Yeah.
Type 1 is a little different story, but it can be helped with diet.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. But yeah, and so, just say no, Christy. But yeah, so my dad kicked cholesterol by changing his diet, but he didn't change enough for his high blood pressure, or do enough things for his high blood pressure, and then he ended up with diabetes as well. Yeah, but she made it to 77. My dad made it to about that 77, 78 before he started having to have medications for some of his health issues. And some days he says that it's worse. The medications are worse than having the issues for him. For other people, it's better. But yeah, and even our Hannah, she'll tell you, and Luke and Becca Kay are the same. They'll tell you when they eat like they ate growing up, they feel better. Whole foods when they can. But when you're living on your own and you can't raise that stuff, man, it's expensive. Yeah, it won't take medicines. Yeah, I feel you. I try to do as best I can. Occasionally, I'll have to take something, but it's pretty rare. Pretty rare. I did whenever I was having my, for my surgery. When I had my surgery, I had to, all the medications there, and it seemed like it took forever to get over the anesthesia brain and the brain fog from that.
Brain frog?
Brain frog. See, I still have a little bit of brain fog. But just my processing was so slow. It was bad. But yeah, Gary brought some water. Yeah, some good old well water. But anyway, so that's our journey. That's what's worked for us. If we'll obey that, and occasionally take an Advil. Yeah.
Yeah, I will take an ibuprofen very occasionally, but not very often.
Depends on what it was. We'll use turmeric.
We'll use turmeric for a lot of things. Actually, I found that just like overloading on water helps a lot, and getting kind of active, depending on what it is. And overloading on water and getting kind of active helps a lot, but also sometimes turmeric, and sometimes we'll take some ibuprofen if it's really needed.
But you've got to be careful. Yes, we planted potatoes. We did. We planted potatoes. Our sweet potatoes I just broke off some of our slips and cut them into 6-inch pieces to root them and put them in water to root them. And but we are not doctors, so Tylenol or Advil sometimes can't move. Yes, Christy. That can be frustrating. But one warning.
Christy,
go ahead.
As a friend, I will tell you, the more you can cut out the little chocolate donuts, the less of that you'll have to take. The more you can cut out inflammatory foods like chocolate, like sugar, like processed flours, processed grains,
seed oils, veggie oils,
hydrogenated oils, and artificial coloring, artificial flavoring. The more of that you can cut out, the less inflammation you will deal with. And I know I'm telling you that because I've experienced that. And right now I haven't been doing very good, and I'm starting to hurt a little more. So,
but a big warning I want to get out before I forget and get sidetracked. If you are taking ibuprofen, please, please, please be careful of how much turmeric you that you consume, because if you're taking turmeric for pain and you take an ibuprofen, they work similar on your body, and you can do some damage to your kidneys. So please be careful. Treat with herbs as well. Good. But yeah, be careful if you are taking turmeric and ibuprofen.
Also found that ginger helps ease some pain, and that I never find anybody that says that it's like a pain medicine or anything like that. But man, if I'm achy and I've got some inflammation, a nice cup of ginger tea with some honey in it, man, that helps.
Yeah.
And I think some of it is, I really think that like a cup of warm ginger tea, I don't know, it just kind of settles your nerves some a little bit.
It's a little calming and soothing.
It's real calming and soothing. Yeah, that's the way of wording that. And so that helps. Ginger and peppermint are something I use a lot. I use cinnamon quite a bit. And partly I use all those because they taste really good.
Christy's got a phone call. See ya, Christy.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
And I partly use those because they taste really good, but also I do find a lot of
relief in them.
And I don't know if we've shared some on this channel, but try not to share a whole lot. But I've had a lot of health trouble, and so we've used everything we can think of.
Anti-inflammatory.
Is anti-inflammatory too?
Good.
Yep. I know that's the effect it has on me. I haven't read a whole lot of research on it. I was using it for other things and found that it was working like that. I didn't read that one.
Yeah, about ginger. Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
And I know that turmeric is definitely a painkiller and anti-inflammatory, but also honey can be an anti-inflammatory to a point.
In moderation.
Yeah,
Yep.
to a point, in moderation. And replacing some of your sugar intake with honey definitely does anti-inflammatory work, because you are getting rid of an inflammatory and replacing it with something that's anti-inflammatory. So you kind of double up there, and that's part of the reason. If anybody that knows my honey consumption, that's part of the reason is I try to do that instead of sugar most of the
Hi,
time.
Barb with Ben's Over Acres.
Turmeric
in your bone broth. Yeah, that's good. That's a good tip, Jan. Yep, it's good. It's good in bone broth, especially if you use bone broth a lot when you're feeling down, when you're sick, or preventative when you're feeling bad, just to boost your immune system a bit. Turmeric's good for that. It's good to have in your bone broth. Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, chamomile. So chamomile. Gary was watching somebody called it chamomile.
Quite a big YouTube channel, a gardening YouTube channel.
And so he doesn't know if it was just
I don't know if he was doing it, but I've heard him do it a couple times on a couple different videos. And I don't know if it's a joke or if he really just read it and hadn't heard it said,
or doesn't realize it's
doesn't
chamomile.
realize that's what it is. But
chamomile or chamomile.
So I found out a lot of what we see here that we think is wild chamomile is actually in the chamomile family, but it's pineapple plant.
Yes. Yeah, pineapple plant. Yep. Which there's some out by where you park your truck.
Oh, okay, cool. That's I'm on there. You can get to be part of different Facebook groups that will remind you seasonally of good foraging plants.
Oh.
And I'm on an Ozark one that reminds us of that.
Did you see where Family Homestead found they have glyphosate in their bodies? It was a shocker. It was a lot.
Huh.
I wonder how they did the testing for that. Well, when I was going through some testing, because when I was having some of my health issues, and they found other things, and for some reason they want to look at all the little crazy stuff, and the stuff they think is a bigger deal that could be causing the other stuff whenever it's really anyway. When they were chasing rabbits, I was told by one of my care providers that if you live in Oklahoma, Kansas, or Nebraska, it's not if you get cancer, but when, because of the glyphosate load. And so, because of it just naturally being constantly being in the air, the particles being in the air at some point in what you breathe, in your food and everything.
I know that in Kansas at one time they were measuring it in the rainwater.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, that's what she said. She said if you live, and I grew up in Oklahoma, born and raised in Oklahoma. We went to Wyoming, so we weren't as exposed to it there, and then we're in Kansas, and so yeah, she said it's not if, it's when, and that was kind of crazy. That was kind of crazy to me. And she was telling me about all the people that they did biopsies, if they that may have died of a heart attack or whatever, but had cancer in their bodies as well, but that wasn't what caused their death. They're going to do a video, so it will be worth following. She was having trouble losing weight, so they did the test for anything that disrupts hormones. Glyphosates are weed killers. Roundup. The main.
It's used in some other weed killers.
Remedy is it Remedy or 2,4-D? One of them.
2,4-D is 2,4-D. Remedy, I'm not sure what's in that.
One of those, like when I was doing research, is a glyphosate as well. I think it is Remedy. Was the glyphosate, but yeah, they're broadleaf killers. Roundup is the most, what we hear the most of is Roundup.
Is an indiscriminate killer.
Yeah, different chemical. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think it was Remedy that was a glyphosate, but yeah, just spray. But and I'm not trying to vilify farmers or anybody
absolutely not.
because they're doing what they think is best
Yeah,
practice. I'm not
absolutely.
and
They've been lied to. Too.
yes, that's exactly
Well,
it.
I don't know if they as much lied to as things were released before there was enough research, and the people that were selling it didn't understand it at first, and then maybe they started, certain people started hiding things they found later, but for the most part, farmers just have things they have to deal with at such a big scale. The low profitability of farming, the low profit margins. They have to cut every corner and take every advantage they can to try to farm more ground and get more product with less hours. And it's just a tough thing. We do not vilify commercial agriculture. Those are our people. And we just do some things on a little different scale a lot. But we've worked in commercial agriculture. It's not something we vilify at all.
Yep, that's right, Mrs. Patty. Yeah, and we're finding that in lots of things. Like the water. I mean, but there again, it goes to who's doing the study, who's paying for it, and what it's gonna.
Right. And some of those things weren't found till it was already so ingrained in what we were doing that
now it's hard to go back. For
it's hard to change.
How do you come out of it and make money? Because they have to pay their bills in order, or they're gonna not be able to farm. And like you got places like in Kansas where we lived in Kansas, and those large prairies, trying to preserve the prairie.
Well, yeah.
They're the cost effective way is aerial spray. I mean,
and you know that a tall grass prairie will produce more oxygen and ebate more CO2 than the rainforest, acre per acre. And so, if we let invasive forbs overrun our native prairie, not only is that sad to see native prairies ruined and destroyed by invasives that aren't useful, it's economically destructive, but also it is environmentally destructive. So what do? You can try to control them with fire, and you can do a little point. You can use grazing, and everybody thinks that grazing, intense grazing and rotational grazing, completely solves all your answers. It doesn't. It helps, and it can be part of a program that uses multiple things to help. But the intensity of that, when guys are managing several thousand acres by themselves with another full-time job, it gets very hard to do. And so they've depended on things like Roundup and 2,4-D and Remedy and things like that before they ever knew that there was anything wrong with it. And at some places, that's the only thing that's kept our tall grass prairie growing. Now, it has absolutely destroyed some things in the prairies too.
Yes.
But it's kept some of the grasses and stuff alive that wouldn't have been kept.
Right. The bee population has been.
Yes, the bee population has definitely been decimated by some of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's integrated. You're right. Integrated management practices. Yeah.
And it takes multiple of them, and they will not always get the same results as some of the other practices. They definitely are good. They're the way to start going, and I know a lot of commercial farmers that are using some of them and some of the other things, and they cherry pick what's best, and they find what works best for them. I know guys that will use Roundup a certain time of the year and then spray molasses at another time of the year instead of Roundup, and and they'll
to
switch
get the
in and
animals
out,
to eat it,
and they'll use some grazing, and then they'll use some burning, and then they'll use 2,4-D on the things that the grazing and the burning didn't get.
It's
and
just
spot spraying that is probably the best way to use that, and it that is an effective way of doing things. And if everybody starts doing that, the amount that's getting sprayed on the ground then goes down. Even though it's still used some, the runoff of it is less,
and the evaporation of it, because we found out that it's very volatile to wind and heat. The today's almost too hot to even spray.
And a lot of wise farmers are realizing that not only is when it's volatile, not only is it dangerous to the environment around them, some are diversifying enough
It's
that
not as
hey,
effective.
this is affecting my timber ground, so I'm not going to do
And
it.
they're wasting money. It's not as effective
But also,
to their
yes,
ground.
they're spraying chemical that's not doing them any good. So they're waiting till the temperatures are right and everything works better. And all of those chemicals are packaged telling them that. They say that on the packaging, but it's not always adhered to.
Yeah.
And so, and like everybody, the time gets busy, and you do it when you can do it instead of when it's right.
Right.
And
Right. And that, and we fell victim to that one, in 21.
we have known jobs of commercial farmers. Our families, we have been in the commercial agriculture, and I don't know one that just enjoys killing and destroying things.
They don't, none of them.
And most of them see themselves as stewards of the land. They just got to figure out how to best do that with the time and resources they have.
Right.
And so we don't want to vilify them. If I vilify anybody, it would be the chemical companies that don't give them all the information at times, or that have
misleading information.
I don't have a problem vilifying Monsanto, but my neighbor who works very hard taking care of cattle, I don't vilify him.
No. So, yeah. But yeah, so that's our soapbox.
Yeah.
We'll get down from our soapbox. We're going to have to get down from our soapbox because we're going to have to start taking prayer requests.
Yeah.
And so we've got Miss Patty and her knee. And Christy with her health issues. And yeah. So Mike's for Tina. Tina in the Strickland family. Trying to think who else. Sure, there's many, many more that I'm just not thinking of today. But yeah. So that was our soapbox. But yeah. But yeah, which we know, most people share our views on that, or they are kind enough, or they're kind enough, not to argue with it. And we're not.
There are big names in our circles that would vilify every farmer around.
Yes.
There are.
Yeah, there are.
And that's part of why we don't do that.
Right,
we want to make sure that you guys know the difference.
Yeah. And we...
When we were sprayed, we didn't vilify the farmer for what he was doing.
No.
We didn't even vilify. We said, hey, this wasn't applied right.
Yeah.
And we need you guys to make up for the destruction that caused.
Yeah.
Not with the farmer, but the applicator.
Right.
And the applicator made it right, tried to make it right financially, and it didn't work out perfect, but they did some, and so, that's the way it works, and then, there's been times we probably did stuff that aggravated our neighbors.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You've got to give grace to each other, and you've got to give each other the benefit of a doubt, and that neighbor that had that pasture sprayed, he didn't want to destroy our place. It broke his heart when he found out it had happened. And they were willing to give us all the stuff we needed to do to go get the applicator to make it right.
He was just as heartbroken as we were.
Absolutely.
Because he loved to drive by and see our gardens, our gardens,
absolutely.
And see, and so he knew the devastation that had happened, and so therefore he was more than happy to help us get to the right people to get things accomplished in a timely manner. Yep, I missed comment, Julius. I appreciate you sharing. Yep, that's right, Mike. It's a fallen world, but God. And we've got to show grace. We've got to put the evil in the right spot. Not put, as human beings, we need grace. We need love and care. And
we live in a fallen, broken world that from our effort and from the things we do will never be made straight.
Right.
We will never make it all right.
We'll
Jesus made us right with him.
Right.
And then when there's a new heaven and a new earth, it will be made right.
Yeah. And
this earth will never be made right. And so if that's our goal, we've got the wrong goals.
Right. Right.
And loving each other and getting along the best we can in this world is more of a
Yeah.
reasonable goal.
And being on our soapbox about, our food journey is, we can all, we're never gonna fix all that, like Gary was saying. But we can take care of ourselves. We can do what's best for ourselves and what we can do for ourselves. But in that, we have to trust in the Lord, because ultimately His will trumps.
Yeah.
His will trumps all. So
the creator. Now I may have the facts wrong, so
Okay.
if I've got them wrong, you guys can correct me. But I believe it was the creator of North Face, right?
Yes.
Clothing that was created for outdoor adventurers to keep them from getting hypothermia, died of hypothermia. I mean, that stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do all the right things, take all the right precautions, and die in a car wreck. You can be as healthy as you can be and still die. I mean, we're gonna die.
Still have health issues.
You're not gonna get out of this world and alive.
Yeah,
so
that's right, Patty. God knows the number of our days.
absolutely.
And I don't know. I believe in God's sovereignty. I don't know that He causes all things, but He does allow them.
And we'll never. We can't answer why. Sometimes there's things that I don't understand why.
Yeah. But
we know that He has a plan beyond this world.
Yes, He does.
Beyond what goes on here.
And and if one person gets comfort or finds Jesus through anything bad that happens to me, if God gets glory from that, is He's glorified in that, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. No matter how hard it is, it's worth it. And that's a hard lesson to learn. It's also a lesson that we sometimes think we've learned, and we end up either going deeper into that lesson, or we have the inventor of the remote smothered in the cushions of his couch. Sorry, that is. Don't know about that one, Mike. Oh, but yeah. So, yes.
Golly, you got a flyer too.
Yeah, there's a. You must smell really good or bad.
Really bad, one of the two.
Better move. Vultures are coming after you. I saw some circle come up. Just kidding. Okay. I'm glad that was a good joke. But anyway, so prayer requests. So yeah, we need to be praying for each other. We need to be uplifting each other. And more than our soapbox of health journey, we want Christ to be glorified. We want you guys to hear that more than anything. And we haven't had that much today for that. But that is our number one. That's our purpose.
In our health journeys, definitely God has had not only a big hand in that, but it has brought us closer to God. Yeah. He got His work through those things. And it would take more than a 1 hour live for us to explain all that.
Yeah, it would.
But we definitely know that we have a risen Savior.
I hate to say but grace. Should be and grace.
But grace.
But grace is sufficient. Grace.
This world is broken, and we go through bad things, but grace.
But grace. Yeah.
Or but God.
But God.
But God, who's full of grace. God who is full of love, who is love, gives us grace.
That's why I like you better than me.
I know, I see that.
You must smell really bad.
All right, well, we're going to pray.
Yeah, let's pray.
Father, we're so thankful for who you are. We know that we live in a fallen world, and sometimes things we do here in this world affect others in ways we don't intend. Sometimes others do things that we don't know their intentions, but they sure affected us and don't look good. And Lord, we
just thank you for the grace you've given us, even in all that chaos. Lord, thank you for your love. Lord, we ask that you be with Patty and her health issues, and that you be with Christy and her health issues, and Mike's family. Lord, we know that you have a plan and you're capable of executing the plan that you have seen as best for us. Lord, we're thankful for that. Lord, we love you and we praise you. In Jesus' name.
Well, guys, we've been on here almost an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett's family's already texting, hey,
Asking time.
asking times. So we're going to get going. And we hope to see you next week.
Yep.
I hope to have a video out this week. I've been working on one, but there's a lot of footage to go through and a lot to get it pared down. And yeah. When we were working on the kitchen, I did a whole lot of just letting it roll. Thank you. We love you too, Jan. But remember, God made you special.
He loves you very much.
So have a blessed week, y'all. We'll see you later. Stop wanting to